As I spent some time reflecting on years ago, like at least about 5 to 6 years ago, I'm thinking about one of my kind of like videos that got quite a bit of views, a lot of engagement. It was like my other channel that I had, and one of the videos was basically called Submit or Suffer. And this concept was just a concept that something that I thought of, and I really zeroed in on it, and it's irrefutable. One of the things about it is it's pretty much really irrefutable. In life, both both men and women have, basically two options. And it comes to submit or suffer. A lot of times I, will pretty much see a lot of women basically, and I'm not the only one that sees this. I definitely know I'm not the only one that sees this. They're running away from submission. Okay, what do I mean by that? Of course, I'm going to break it down to you. Basically, from the time a woman leaves her mom's house, she has to, go get a job. Mostly, that's what the culture of today is basically leave, go to college, go maybe back home, get a job, then go and get your own apartment, house, whatever, right? And you go to this job and you have to, submit to whatever is required for this job, the tasks that are required for this job, the etiquette, the decorum, the dress code, the rule book, and all of these other policies and stuff like that went in accordance to your job, right? So you do those things on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and it provides you some type of compensation, some benefits, to where you take that and use that for your survival. Okay, this is no different than men, right? Right? Where it comes into nuance, where this concept of submit or suffer is, where I see women running away from submission, is that basically men don't really have the option. It's being more common nowadays, but traditionally, men do not have the option to basically sit under a woman and basically allow that woman to take care of him at least 100%, to where he does not have to pay all of the bills and everything like that. Traditionally, that's just now not really how that works, at least in mass, right? So, really, the only other option mostly is for women to exercise that option to be able to basically submit to your husband or significant other, and allow them to go and work and pay the bills, and you do what you need to do to take care of the household, um, other tasks to help out your significant other. At least that's the way it's supposed to work, right? So a lot of times what I see when I see women that are extremely, um, let's just say, attractive, or even has a lot of benefit to offer men, and they're trying to do this and do that and do that and do this. And what I find is basically a lot of times a woman that has some type of trust issues, or some type of blockages, to where basically in their mind they can go to work, submit to a job, submit to tasks, and get compensated for it, and basically deal with men as basically a need by need basis, or even have a long term boyfriend, or even a spouse, right? And they're basically kind of frustrated and you know anguished and uptight, and you know even in a lot of cases now, let's just be real, they have some hardship in the household with their significant other. They come home, they're anguished, they're uptight, tired, stressed, yada 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 yada. And then it goes into health. Health starts breaking down. Um, Things are starting to, your body is starting to wear down, right? And even still, having a significant other, having a spouse, having someone, right? You know, serving two masters, or serving one master over the other. I'll definitely get into that. Um, Basically, over time, it just gets to a situation where uh somebody is unhappy, and they're frustrated, and they're like, I don't think that women are stupid. I don't think that they haven't came to the thought like, damn, why do I have to work, or why do I choose to work? I really don't want to work, but I gotta help pay all these bills or whatever, or I gotta pay my part of the bills, when in essence that never had to be an option. I'll just say, let's just you know say that that was not an option that had to be done. That was something that basically the woman started from the relationship. She had a job already, and her significant other had a job, and they just basically were like most people. They worked two separate jobs, and yeah, that's how they met. That was what was acceptable. That was what the deal was. Uh, Not saying that the woman couldn't be, uh, a stay at home. Let's just throw some children involved. The woman didn't have to be. She didn't have to work. She could have stayed home, but that was how things started. She basically was you know working a job. She never really um assumed in her mind, because a lot of times women assume things and make assumptions, and um, have certain kind of like uh, understandings that is not necessarily true, makes sense but not necessarily true. And the assumption was, this man can't pretty much provide for me. He can't 100% provide for me, or I can't really just make menial jobs or whatever, like work from home job, or uh do some like tasks or whatever, or even sell on eBay or whatever the case you could do while working from home. I can't do that and make a decent income. I got all these other responsibilities, wants, needs, goals to accomplish. I can't do that working from home. It's a lot of just kind of like barriers that a lot of times women will make to where it might be valid. Those cases might be true, but yet it was never something that was done. It was never something that was done. It was never a deal to be like, you know what, honey, I'm going to just try to be a work from home mom for about a year, maybe 5 years, 10 years. What do you think about that? And some men might have a problem with that. Don't get me wrong. This is not I'm not speaking. I'm probably only speaking to about 10 to 15% of men, basically just in a nutshell. Let's just say 10 to 15% of men. So, yeah, the other 65, 75%, whatever the case may be, 85%, they are not going to they might have some pushback or be like, okay, get it. It might be a hot button issue or something like that, right? But those 10 to 15% of men, let's just say 5%, the on the 15th percentile of men, they might ask you some questions or, kind of have some dialogue with you about it. And ultimately they didn't say no, they didn't say yes, but they willing to consider it. A lot of times that concept doesn't even come to light because here's the other thing. I'll go back to, I don't think for a second women are dumb. I don't think so. And the reason why I say I don't think women are dumb is because women understand that they know that it's some guys out there that will probably walk on water for them, or at least try, climb mountains, do this, do that. A lot of times those men may not be desirable for women. Okay. And then second, the guys that they do want or are in relationships with, or even relationships they had in the past with men that they really wanted to be with and they ultimately landed that man, they know that in a lot of cases they can't shut the fuck up and sit down. They can't provide a house that's at peace. They can't provide any type of serenity. They have issues being able to follow direction, to take direction from their significant other. They're able to, this goes into the two masters. They're able to serve one master, i.e., white daddy, corporate America. Let's just face it. But they can't serve their other master that they really, let's just say 80 to 90% of the time want to sleep with, make children with, share their life with, which is their black, man, basically, right? They can they can serve that master wholeheartedly, 10, 20 years, 30 years, retirement, 15 years. But the other master that, basically they come home to make babies with and everything like that, they have a problem taking direction for that master. And they know it. Now, this is for the percentage of women. I would say, I'll just be modest. I'll say 25%. 25% of women, I'm not talking to, as far as they don't have these issues as far as listening and taking direction from their man. You know, I'll just say 75% of women might have a nuance of problems with that, to damn near that language would be almost like a meltdown would come from that particular language. So the women that, I'll say the 25% of the women that don't have a problem with that, and they just whatever don't have a significant other or whatever the case may be, but they're willing to definitely wholeheartedly listen to their significant other and take direction uh when he gives the direction. Yeah, I'm not necessarily speaking about you. But the other 75% of women that actually will have a problem with that, yes, going back to knowing in their mind, they know, okay, if I submit to this man, possibly I know my, wicked ways or problems that I have with men in the past and just, men I've dealt with. I don't like being, told what to do by my man. I don't want to be, nobody's slave or whatever the case may be. And that leads to a emotional, mental situation where by proxy of your behavior and actions, you can't do those things because you're not, it's not part of your physical construct of how you deal with men in relationships. You have a problem with that, whether it be you weren't really raised like that, you just didn't really see too many examples of that coming up as a youth. So yeah, I mean, that I would say is more of the problem when it comes to submit or suffer, that idea. Because like I say, most men don't have the option to be under a woman, or even a lot of cases, even such as myself, I don't even want to use any option of being under a woman and she providing for me, such as a sugar mama, or even just a woman that just makes more than me, and I just basically be a house dad. you know I mean, I think it I think that's definitely something that's growing, because a lot of women are making a lot of money, and it's not nothing that I wouldn't say that does not work for some people, some couples and whatnot. But I probably would have a problem with that dynamic, as far as I would say a role reversal or something like that. But it's all in stride. I mean, that type of level of what that is more of a male consort. And I really haven't really talked about a lot of male consorts, but it is something that basically it I'll get to that eventually. Yet at the same time, most men don't have that option to be under some woman and basically getting taken care of. Most of the options are women able to do that. But a lot of times, like I said, going back to the barrier of being in a household and letting your man take fully care of you, this concept is a lot of times more of a mental thing than an actual physical thing. Such as, what I mean is that a lot of times women just don't like I say, want to actually do that because they're not able to take that direction from. They have a problem with taking direction from their man to serving their man as if he's the master, um, versus a job, and having a boss or supervisors and stuff like that. So yeah, it goes into going back to running away from, submission, basically submitting or suffering. Um, the consequences and the causes and effects of that is ultimately, yeah, broken relationship, right? There's suffering by both parties on that, right? Let's just say a divorce or breakup, and to add insult to injury, as children involved, right? Well, that's both suffering on both parts, but ultimately, the woman is suffering, right? Because she has to deal with this breakup, and she has to deal with the fact that she still has to serve her last master, which would be that job, which will be that job that pays her bills, right? She had a problem with her other master, which is her, partner or whatever. Serving that master was just not an option for her to fully serve that master. So she ultimately designates her master that she works for. So that basically leads her to, like I say, the suffering. She's got to deal with the children now, um, the breakup, divorce if they're married, and the guilt of not wanting to really even submit to this guy. Let's just face it. Some women, they know that they want to, but it just some type of like barrier that they have a hard time overcoming, whether it be socially, whether it be friends telling them no, and you know society, the way society is no longer really like this. Let's just be honest. um, Especially in the black community. um, it's not a concept that is common. you know it's just these are uncommon cultural dynamics, okay, that I'm talking about. So as far as that last master that she has, that pays and provides for her, you know is still this just kind of like slowly dying sickness that comes from that. And might be weight gain, might be smoking, or might be another habit to escape the anguish and the emotional pain of this breakup. Because that master, that other master, he made you come really good, and he made you happy. He cracked some jokes every now and again. He did lift a lot of burden off of you by helping out with everything. I mean, you get some type of money compensation from him, but he was providing a lot more than just monies, as far as what he brought to the table, and you no longer have that, and you're not sure if you can even get that from someone else. So the anguish, like I say, A lot of times it goes into an emotional breakdown to where, you know, might be drinking more, smoking, picking up new habits to cope as a coping mechanism to this anguish and pain because you chose to not submit. Therefore, the only thing what was left was suffering. Thus, submit or suffer. You know, a lot of times men, we already know that we have to submit. We learn that from a very early age. I mean, a lot of guys play sports. We know someone is stronger than us always. You know, that's why we train, we condition, because we're trying to be the strongest. You know, because we know if somebody strong out there that can give us some type of, problems, let's just say. And um, ultimately, we go into that and, go into work and everything like that. We understand, okay, somebody got more money than we have. Somebody has more power and influence than we have. Someone has, you know, more connections than we have, and we do whatever we have to do in many cases, and submit to that to get that same scenario of provisions and money to pay bills and take care of ourselves, right? Now, another concept to this submission and suffering is a lot of times men and women just be like, you know what, enough is enough. Women just will, like, just quit their job, just get, government benefits, uh, even ultimately just for, let's just face it, just giving all the way up, right? Be on the street, and men, same. Most men, most homeless men are black males. And it's a higher percentage of men that are homeless, definitely, than women. Yeah, at the same time, yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate, like, running away from submission is just choose to go live in the woods in a tent. you know but here's where you still can't escape the suffering. um it's still suffrage, right? And then ultimately, a lot of times, let's just face it, people, um basically off themselves because they can't escape the suffering, right? It's unescapable, right? And even if they got away from this master, that master, this form of submission and that form of submission, ultimately the suffering of life, what control, all of this chaos and trying to control it, right? um Ultimately, it becomes a situation where, yeah, it's just like, even though I can do this and this and this, it's still no escape, And I mean, I'm not trying to lead anybody down a path of, you know, anguish or uh, feeling hopelessness and bad, or bad about life. I'm just stating the actual reality, and you know it's nuances to it. I mean, you could go somewhere else. You can go to a beach, or go to a island, and situation might be a lot better. But the thing about it is, like I said before, I'm doing a lot of self-reflection, and uh, I was thinking about this concept of submit or suffer, and it's very much one of the things that I would say put me on a level of a philosopher, or some type of kind of like self-help guru that I am. And it just basically, I don't gloat myself all the time, but I just thought I'd just kind of bring it back out, and as a reminder, as well as just kind of something to just think about.